Welcome to the day one challenge. Today, I would like to talk about deep listening. So, look at the music as the stimulus to human emotion and thought and sensation. From this point of view, music has meaning not only in the music itself, like a Bach's music, very divine meaning or something, but also in the interaction with the listeners or internal response of listeners. So how listener experience the music, that also another side of meaning. We musicians are specialists who can stimulate people's emotion, thought, and sensation by various sound impression. We are like acupuncturists stimulating patient's body by provoking a natural healing reaction by needles, or physicians manipulate patients' physiology by chemicals to support their healing process. If our specialty is influencing people's internal state, it is extremely important for us to learn how music impression affect human emotion, thought, and sensation. Fortunately, we have a perfect research subject available 24/7 right here, which is ourselves. What we need to do is to observe our responses while listening music. I can call this a deep listening. However, it is not as easy as it sounds because we tend to focus most of our attention on music while listening. So we almost neglect what's happening to ourselves with the music. We all have a part of ourselves that can be objective to ourselves. In other words, we can observe ourselves as if we are observing other person. Probably you have a moment like this in your life. We can call this state self-remembering. In the state of self-remembering, we have omnidirected attention and broad awareness. The opposite is the state with a single directed attention and narrow awareness. It's called identification, in which we spend most of our time. Anybody can mobilize conscious state of self-remembering for a short period of time. In other words, we can see ourselves as if seeing somebody else very objectively for a short period of time. It is not easy to keep being objective to ourselves because this is a rather special state we don't experience very often. Most of the time, we are very subjective. To keep such objective self-monitoring state, self-remembering, we need to strongly and clearly intend to do it by willpower. Willpower is like a muscle. We all have it, but it takes time to develop. At the beginning, you may experience a series of short self-remembering interrupted by the state of single directed attention and narrow awareness, which is identification. It means the effort would be, first, to sustain the state of self-remembering, and two, to keep coming back to it from the state of identification if you lose the state. To sustain and keep coming back to the state of self-remembering while listening to music, I suggest to use this inner command. This is something I tell myself to remind me of the aim to sustain and keep coming back to self-remembering. So first one is divide attention. The second one is place myself between my body and music. The third is listen to music through my ears. This command helps me to feel my consciousness as something independent from my body. So I would like to explain each one of them. So first one, divide attention. First step is feel yourself as a consciousness providing attention and awareness to what is happening to yourself and the environment. So it means you are not the music you are listening to, or you are not the body listening to music. So you are in between. And divide your attention in two flows. So you are the source of the attention. So divide attention in two flows. Direct one of the flow of attention toward music. And direct another flow of attention to your thought, emotion, and sensation. And sometimes you can lean toward one of the flows occasionally, like the music is so beautiful, so wonderful, and actually your attention is more drawn to the music. Or sometimes you have overwhelming emotion happening, like almost you want to cry, or your body start reacting like feeling warmth or something, and then your attention naturally draw to your body. But don't lose the other flow of attention. So the importance is you try to always aware of music and yourself at the same time by dividing attention, which is the experience music and yourself at the same time. The second command, place myself between my body and music. So place yourself or your consciousness between music impression and your own response in thought, emotion, and sensation. In a way, both are impressions, internal impression and external impression, which is music. And visualize yourself floating in between music and your body without being sucked into either side. And then stay there and enjoy yourself, your body, music integrated and creating the experience here now. So music experience is basically integration of the music impression, your response, and yourself, which is the source of attention, or your consciousness. It's like a trinity, So those are three elements integrated and creating the whole experience. And try to enjoy that experience. The third command is listen to music through my ears. So in this case, think you or your consciousness are inside of the vehicle, which is your body, experiencing the world through sensory organs. So we say, I am listening to music, right? Instead, my vehicle is receiving the sound and I am experiencing that. So it's like you have one step between music and yourself, that is a body or sensory organs. So in this way, you can separate your conscious existence from the physical existence, which is body. And remember, you are not the body or the vehicle. You are the master of the body or driver of the vehicle. So this way, in a way, it's a little different from the dividing attention, because in the dividing attention or place myself between my body and music, your existence is like in between music and the body. But this case, you were like inside of the body, but you're experiencing the world through the body. So I introduced these three different commands because for me, the third one works very well. And the first one, divide attention, actually is very logical. But practically, I like the third one the best. And for some people, the first one makes more sense. Or other people, the second one makes more sense. So I just introduced three different ways of provoking the state of self-remembering while you are listening to music. So pick whichever you like. to use, or you can use all of them and try them, how it works differently. The challenge is to sustain the state of self-remembering. Okay, once we succeed to provoke self-remembering, but how to sustain? This is kind of a challenge, and this is probably it's a harder challenge. So what we have to do is avoiding falling into the state of identification. So there are some common traps that can pull you out of the self-remembering and bring you down to identification. The first one is called imagination. So in this seminar, imagination is defined as flow of thought and emotion, unintended, uncontrolled, and unrelated to what is happening here now. So it's like a daydream in a sense. They naturally occur during listening to music. So the effort to stop the flow of imagination is useless. Because if you observe yourself even a minute, you see the flow of imagination. A lot of them like unintended, uncontrolled thought and emotions, and then lots of them are not even related to what's happening here and now. So this flow is natural. It's happening all the time. So stopping is almost impossible, and then you because it's like a big flow of the river. So you try to stop it. It doesn't happen. So what we can do about it is not to be involved in the flow. Stay on the shore of the flow of imagination or river of imagination and see them just passing through in front of us. So that we keep distance. So we try not to be involved, and then if we involved, the river take you away from here now. The second trap or obstacle is over-focusing. So in this state, all the attention stuck in a single subject. For example, you hear something you really like or you really don't like in the music while you're listening to music, and then thoughts start happening about that spot in the music, or emotions start happening, kind of negative emotion about it. And then music flows non-stop, but you stuck in one spot, and then that spot became past already, and then you lose the present. So over-focusing is another trap. You lose your self-remembering, because in self-remembering, you have to keep monitoring what's happening here and now to you. So if you lose the present, it means you lose the self-remembering. The third obstacle, analytic mind taking too much space. So, for example, you start listening to music and then you start looking for information about the piece or composer, and you start thinking about it, or categorizing music like, oh, this is a late Baroque period, or all this intellectual processing, and also describing musical experience in words. So instead of taking an impression as an impression, you try to say something. Oh, this is wonderful. This is exciting. So using word to describe what you're experiencing, it's useful later maybe, but while you're listening to music, it's just better to focus on music and experience music as music. And the thought process is slow compared to the immediate experience of sensation or emotion. So that's why if thought process started taking too much space while listening to music, we easily lose the present, because thought is about past, or while the thought process start working, it's so slow, and then music leave us behind and we lose the present moment, which is we lose our self-remembering. So these three obstacles, it's worth to pay attention to avoid falling into the identification or lose the self-remembering. So now I would like to talk about how we do the deep listening exercise. The first, pick music. But the music is better not to be too familiar to you, because if the music is too familiar, you have already built up habit how to listen to that music, and then the way of listening is habitual. You fall into the automatic mode, and then you don't pay much attention. So it's better not to be very familiar or too familiar to you. But we want to make it as a very enjoyable experience. So pieces by composer or performer you like is suitable for this exercise. Or music with high reputation, but you have never listened to yet. So historically, or majority people say, oh, this music is great. Often there's something really great about it. So pick some music like that, or genre of music you haven't explored much yet. So sometimes indigenous music or some classical music in a certain period or something, it's historically evaluated as a great music, and a lot of people thinks it's great, and then but the genre you never explore. So something like that is also very suitable. And length. If it's too long, you start losing the attention awareness. So my suggestion is between 5 and 10 minutes. And if you're getting used to do it, you can try to listen much longer piece of music. But starting with 5-10 minutes music is a good idea. And the next step is prepare yourself. So you pick a music and where you can listen to it is like choose quiet and calm environment, and take care of your instinctive need before you start music. Because if you're holding, right, if you want to go to the toilet, it's better to do it before you play music. Or if you're thirsty, take a glass of water or something. And turn off cell phone, of course, and close eyes and listen to the environment sound. And eliminate noise as much as possible. For example, a fluorescent lamp can create like a low humming noise. Or also the refrigerator sometimes have that noise, and also AC and fans. So we're talking about only 5-10 minutes. Turning off AC is not really a big deal, maybe even refrigerator. So try to eliminate noise, environmental noise, and sit or lay down in comfortable position. So, but better not to sleep while you're listening. So comfortable, but not too comfortable. So I don't want you to sleep during doing this exercise. And play music through good speakers or headphone. Good speakers are preferable, my opinion, but a headphone, if it is comfortable, and it's only 10 minutes or 5 minutes, so a headphone is okay as well. So deep listening is a kind of mindful meditation with music. So this deepens our relationship to music also by experiencing both music and our body or our own response simultaneously. We deepen our understanding of how music affects human psyche and physical functions. So this is a great knowledge for any musicians. So please enjoy deep listening.